friends, and welcome back to our humble homestead. If you're new here, I'm Hannah, and I live in our tiny fixer-upper with my family of 8. He is currently sleepy, so I'm hoping to lull him to sleep while we have a little chat. I'm hoping that sharing little pockets like this just keeps the videos relatable and more true to life. So today I wanted to talk about how to not feel overwhelmed as a mom. I wanted to give you guys some practical things that you can implement to go from feeling chaotic to calm. We're gonna address mindset, because I do believe that's at the core of keeping your calm and living positively and enjoying your life as a mother. But I'm also gonna give you some physical action steps as well. So we've got 7 steps that we're gonna talk about today. So let's get started. Number 1, start your day with intentionality. I can't stress it enough, the importance of a morning routine. It is everything. It is your secret sauce to staying proactive instead of reactive. Bonus tip, one of the best ways to have a smooth morning is to have a smooth evening. We can talk about nighttime routine another time. Right now, let's focus on the morning time. I personally like to get up 2 to 3 hours before my children. That might sound extreme to some, but I have just learned that's my personality. I really need that time to have a slow, leisurely time to myself where I don't feel rushed. I don't like waking up like 30 minutes before my children and thinking I have to hit all the bullet points super fast before they wake up. I like to wake up, make my cup of coffee, sit down, have my quiet time, journal, read or listen to something that's going to help bathe my mind in the correct thought for the day. And then I like to start breakfast all before they even get up, because I have learned I do not like it when my children wake me up, or they all seem to wake up at once and everyone's whining and fussing for their breakfast and I haven't even had time to dust the cobwebs off my brain. It just helps so much to stay on top of the morning routine. It sets the tone for the rest of the day to go smoothly. You've had your time filling your cup, you're in the right mindset, and it is so much easier to stay a step ahead of the game. So like I said, action steps that you can do in the morning. Set your time to wake up before your children. It might hurt at first if you're not used to it, but it is worth it. It is worth it in the long run. Journal, read the word, write down your goals. That's a huge one for me. Write down your goals and action steps you're going to take each day. If you don't have super young children, I would suggest working out. We will get to that point eventually, but for this stage of the game, he keeps waking up at unpredictable times. Hey. So I wait until I have someone who can watch him for me to work out. But if you are able to work out in the mornings, I highly recommend it. Get dressed, get yourself ready for the day so you'll feel so much more confident and better about yourself. It truly does make a difference. And a thought that I want you to sear into your brain is, if I wake up centered, I can show up with more patience and calm. That's what we want. We want patience, not panic. I can show up with patience, not panic. Okay, so this is a big one. Number 2, plan ahead for triggers. Okay, so a lot of you probably already know what I mean. We have certain times of the day that appear to be the most stressful. It could be the morning time. It could be bedtime chaos. It could be if you're homeschooling and all the kids are asking for help at once. We all know what our stressful times of the day are. So as the managers of the home, it is up to us to actively think about what we can do to address these stressful times, because they're not going to get any smoother. And it's not on the kids to make things smoother, it's on us. As the mama, we have to get creative, plan solutions, and plan ahead for the future. I know for me personally, I fall victim to the 3 p.m. slump, where you have that massive drop in energy and motivation. And that's when I think most moms either tend to reach for that extra cup of coffee that they probably shouldn't have, or start thinking about that glass of wine that they really want. I've learned that that's actually a time I like to exercise if I'm able to, even if it's something small. That helps bring me back more energy and helps me get through the rest of the day with a really good attitude. Part of that 3 p.m. slump tends to be decision fatigue, because you've already made so many decisions for the day, especially if you're a homeschool mom. And then the last thing you want to figure out at the end of the day is what's for dinner. Go ahead and have it prepped. You should already know. You should already have a plan for what dinner's gonna be, breakfast the next day. It just makes things so much easier, I promise. And a thought to help reframe the situation is, I can anticipate challenges and I can prepare instead of feeling caught off guard. Y'all may hear the Waltons in the background. I apologize. Okay, so number 3, practice the pause. Practice the pause. That means pause before responding to stress. Like the word tells us in James 1:19, know this, my dear brothers and sisters, let every person be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Isn't that one hard? That one's particularly hard. It helps to implement just a 5-second breathing routine. You want to take in a deep breath, 5 seconds, hold it for another 5, and then let it out. Letting it out will engage the parasympathetic nervous system, which will help you calm down. And if you're not yet calm, you can do this as many times as you need to. And if you want to go longer to breathe out, that's also fine. It is so worth it. Allow yourself to pause so that you have words of wisdom. We want to be the Proverbs 31 women, right? I'm pretty sure the Proverbs 31 woman wouldn't just, let words fly out of her mouth based on emotions. She would have self-control. She wouldn't tell herself, I can't help it. She would have words of wisdom on her tongue. Let's look at that. Let's look at what it says. Before all of us start getting in our minds and saying, it's too hard, I can't do it. That's not true. Okay, Proverbs 31:26. She opens her mouth with wisdom. A lesson of kindness is on her tongue. Woo! A lesson of kindness. Ooh, that reminds me of the M is for Mama challenge, where you had to respond to everything with gentleness, even a gentle tone. Ooh, Lord of mercy. When you are challenged with that, you see how much that's not your innate automatic reaction. Let's reset the mind. That's the whole point. The deep breath gives us a chance to reset your mind. You want a whole different mindset. If you have thoughts, you have a mindset. So we want to be intentional with our thoughts, because our emotions follow our thoughts. Take a deep breath, reframe the thought, change the emotion, and therefore respond with wisdom and kindness. And a way to reframe your thoughts is pausing allows me to respond with intention and not impulse. Okay, I'm cracking some hard-boiled eggs, so hopefully this is not too distracting. I feel like I'm always doing that for videos. It's something I do almost every day. It's for the next day. Okay, so tip number 4 that I have is to empower your children. It helps so much if you are not having to micromanage every little thing. If you can empower your children to do more chores and help out around the house, it takes a lot off your plate. It gives them something to do. It gives them a sense of accomplishment. You're teaching them responsibility. It's just good all around. I don't really see any downside to employing your little helpers, because we are in the business of raising future adults, and we want future adults who are independent and know how to do commonsensical things around the house. It's really not asking too much. So you can help by creating simple chore systems. You can use chore charts if you like. If you have children that aren't really going to follow those, you could just implement routines, which will need some consistency on your part. You will have to make sure you're doing your part until it becomes habitual for them. But you can do things like teach them every morning. When they wake up, they need to make their bed. When they are done with toys, they need to put it up before they start the new thing. When the laundry is folded, they put up theirs, etc. Or assign different tasks to different children. One will wipe down the table after dinner, the other one sweeps, one does the dishes if they're old enough. These are things that can help teach them responsibility and also takes things off your plate, which helps things feel less chaotic and less like you're constantly trying to keep the house in maintenance mode while you have children leaving messes all around you for you to constantly clean up. So a reframing thought for empowering your children is, I am raising future adults, and teaching them independence blesses everybody in the long run. Okay, so tip number 5 is set boundaries for your energy. This applies to both inside and outside of your home. So outside of the home, you want to be really careful about what you commit to. It's okay to pause. If someone asks you if you're available or if you can do something or if you can come over and it's going to be a big disruption to your routine and you're not so sure it's worth the time and energy, or if you can even really do it without being overwhelmed, it's okay to pause and say, let me think about it, let me get back to you, or let me talk to my husband about it and I'll let you know. A need does not necessitate a calling. If it does not work for you, if you're hesitating, if there's a pause, if you don't feel 100% good about it, don't feel the need to say yes. You are not selfish to protect your boundaries and your peace and your energy, because it is your job to put that into your family first. Family comes first. And if you have excess energy, if you find yourself bored and you want more things to do, then yes. Because boredom is a sign of wasted potential. So that's something you'll have to think about for yourself. But don't feel guilty about saying no to things that will be too much on your plate. And then in terms of inside the home, I think sometimes we can feel mom guilt about setting boundaries with our children, but you can have healthy boundaries that are within reason. You can say things like, Mommy just needs 5 minutes. I'm going to put myself in a timeout, or we can discuss this calmly after dinner. There are ways you can kindly and gently put up firm boundaries, and you have to be consistent. You have to hold them up. Children, by nature, want to please you, and they want to push boundaries. So they're going to want to keep you happy. They want you to be in a good and happy place, but you have to hold the line, hold the boundaries. When they push you, you let them know. They need good communication on your expectations. They need consistency out of you, and they need fair consequences if they cross those boundaries. So a reframing thought, in case you start to battle mom guilt, is boundaries help me protect my peace and my energy so I can show up better for my family. It's about time for my afternoon tea. Okay, so point number 6 that I want to talk about is focus on solutions and not problems. This is a big one. This is a lot about rewiring our brain to hunt for solutions, because it is definitely human nature to just let negative thoughts ruminate. It'll start with one negative thought and they tend to just snowball. And before you know it, you feel like you're just in this pit of discouragement and it feels so very hard to overcome. I have addressed dealing with discomfort as a mom and my best suggestions for how to overcome it in another video, and I will link that below for you. But as mothers, we have to focus our energy from frustration to finding solutions. Our family is depending on it. It's one of the hardest parts about our calling, but we are capable. We are capable. There's something else I kind of talked about earlier with preparing for the mess, anticipating, and actively thinking, what can I do to fix this? I mean, the fact that you're here, the fact that you're watching a video on how to do better as a mother already says so much. That's a secret of successful mothers, as they are constantly looking for how to improve. I know I am. I spend, like I said, every morning listening to or reading something that is going to encourage me and empower me to keep improving, whether it's bathing my mind in the right mindset or practical tips or action steps. I'm always looking to improve, right? And that is the core, being solution focused. It blesses you to know you're elevating yourself. You're working on your higher, sane, best self instead of choosing to stay stagnant. You are a dynamic character in the story of your life, and you're not just sitting there thinking, I'm stuck. So a great reframing thought that has really helped me, it's real simple, but it's short and you can remember it, is, this is my chance. This is my chance to show up. This is my chance to practice patience. This is my chance to respond with kindness. This is my chance to come up with a fun game for cleaning up their rooms. That is ready. I saw the steam behind me. This becomes something I look forward to around lunchtime. Let that steep. When y'all are watching these, are you drinking tea or coffee? I would love to know. I feel like I start them all off with coffee and trying to get better at implementing more tea in my life because it's just so good for you. Tip number 7, and my last tip for you, and then I'll let you go about your wonderful day, is reflect and adjust. This is also part of my morning routine, is going over my notes and my goals of where I want to be and the certain things I'm trying out, and really being honest with myself and analyzing, are these things working? Are they blessing us? Do I need to adjust? Do I need to throw some things out entirely? Do I need to tweak it? The whole point of having systems and routines is that they're supposed to serve you. You're not a slave to them. If you try something and it's really not working out, you can throw it out. You don't owe anything to anybody. It's your house, your system. You need to do what works best for you and your family and what helps keep you in your best mindset. I think implementing small things one at a time and making them habitual before you move on to the next is truly the best system. So I recommend, I'm a big journaler. I do recommend getting a journal and writing down daily what's working, what isn't, and then honestly evaluating yourself and your systems at least weekly. Seeing if there's anything you can do to improve or tweak them. And a reframing thought for this topic is, every challenge is an opportunity for me to learn and grow. Alrighty, friends, that's all I have for you in this video. I so appreciate you sticking around and watching the whole thing. That's so very kind of you to share a part of your day with me. It really does mean a lot. And I would love to know if you guys like these more casual sit-down videos, still kind of trying to find my vibe, how I do videos. I like the vlogs, but I like the sit-down ones when my kids are entertaining themselves. It feels like a more natural flow for us, but this is part of the whole reflecting and adjusting thing. So I would love to know what you guys enjoy, what you prefer. It's good feedback for me. Also, if you are not subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. I noticed that we have a lot of return viewers, but it's twice as many as subscribers as we have. So if you keep coming back and you're benefiting from the videos, please consider subscribing and sharing them with someone else who you think might also enjoy them. I hope you guys all have a wonderful, blessed week, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Shalom, friends.